Welcome to Your Powerful Legacy TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Kristina Ping. She is CEO of Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services. And to our viewers at home, you are joining us in the series called Financial Wellness. What does that mean? It means about having a healthy lifestyle as well as a healthy portfolio. Kristina believes that these two things should go hand in hand for you to have a dynamic and healthy retirement life. Kristina, how are you today?
Great to be here with you always, my dear friend.
Me too. And I'm so excited. Again, I really love this series, how we're tying in health and wealth and how they should marry one another, especially in the retirement years.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about this all the time, just amongst friends. And I know as people get a little bit older, we tend to talk more about our health, right? You know, we complain about the aches and pains and snap, crackle, pop when you get out of bed, all those things that start happening. Well, we should be talking about the financial health and what's going on. I think that that would create a little bit more transparency, maybe a little bit more comfort and peace if people knew exactly what was going on, not just about their health.
I think that's very interesting because think about it in that regard, like how do you score your financial health? I mean, are we talking about looking at the portfolio? What if we looked at our portfolio like it was like your actual health, if you will? How does that go hand in hand? Like your weight, your height?
Yeah, what's the number one measurement of our actual physical health, right? And as you go in for a regular checkup, you're going to have like your blood pressure checked, your A1C, your weight, height, all those things. BMI, that's the least favorite calculation, of course. And, you know, what is it that you're trying to do is just gauge where you are to make sure that you don't need to make some adjustments to keep your health in check. That's all a checkup is. Well, a financial health checkup is going to be the same. You would want to know what type of accounts they are. I'm talking about taxes. Are they taxable, non-taxable? What is the situation there? What about the consequences of the taxes as you withdraw the money? What about the risk tolerance with inside of the portfolio? What about the income factors? What are those going to be? Inflation, fees, all of these other items are excellent ways to measure the health inside of a portfolio.
And I think this is fascinating because we know that we go to the doctor for our yearly physical. So do clients come in for their yearly portfolio review? How do you do that for folks?
No, we do that as will is needed.
Okay.
I mean, I don't like to limit someone to just one time a year to be able to have access. As things change, we give service to people. And when I think about people have come in through the years and they'll bring in all these really fancy portfolios. It's a full plan. It's really not. All we're looking at are a bunch of charts and graphs of how the actual money is allocated or diversified. We're not looking at an entire picture. There's nothing to do with Social Security, timing, or taxes inside of any of this. And I hear several people say, well, I hear about taxes from my advisor, but they don't really give me any information. And then what's worse is people are given the wrong information. Number one, concerning taxes and concerning Roth conversions, if you do them any other time of the year than at the end of the year in December, you're doing it wrong.
Really? So December only 1st through the 31st is when it needs to be done?
Yes, and I have great reasons. So one of my clients actually had money at another place because it's a family friend, and I do not require my clients to have everything at Powerful Legacy. That's just rude. But I do require them to be transparent with me and let me know what's going on because I cannot help the portion that I'm taking care of unless, well, when we were talking about the taxes and what was going on, this person wanted to do Roth conversions in the month of May. That made no sense to me whatsoever. And I said, hold on a minute. What if something happens between now and the end of the year and you have to withdraw money for something?
Right.
And it catapults you to another bracket. You just completely washed away the advantage of a Roth conversion in the first place. Well, they went back to their family friend and their family friend was like, well, I don't like what that other advisor has to say. I do it this way because I just want to get it done before the middle of the year. And I'm like, just wanting to get it done? There's a reason why it's done in December because we don't want to have any mistakes like paying too much in taxes. It really is that simple.
Right.
We don't want to pay too much, so we need to have the full annual snapshot.
Okay. That's scary what you just mentioned, people getting the wrong advices, because so often when you think about even from a health perspective, you see a doctor and you leave there and you think that that doctor knows exactly what they're speaking of, and then you see the value of a second opinion when you go to the other doctor and they tell you something totally different. So it's so important to compare. So obviously they made the right decision because they came in and spoke with you and they knew that they were getting the wrong advice.
They did. And when we're talking about that and we talk about, just a balanced portfolio, what does that technically mean? I asked somebody that one day. They're like, I just need to make sure that my portfolio is balanced. And I said, what does that even mean? There is no such thing as a balanced portfolio. You can reallocate the portfolio, or you can actually go in and perfect the portfolio. That's one thing I like to say, or make it better.
Okay.
Better is always better. But balance inside of a portfolio doesn't exist because every single person's portfolio is different, and you have your money in different places for different reasons.
Yeah.
So it may be that in your early 60s, you have a little bit more money that is in growth. It's in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, and we might be in maybe a moderate to a growth category, where 10 years later, it's going to be completely opposite. It needs to be in a safety bucket. It needs to have future growth and future safety, and maybe like some income multiplication for long-term care, all those items. It's a totally different bucket of money. Is that a rebalance of the portfolio? No, that's not what that is. That is just adjusting the plan.
Okay.
So when you hear that from someone, what that really is they're just saying, I only manage the money. I'm technically not a financial planner. I just manage the funds.
Interesting. And what about inflation? Are you finding that a lot of people are coming in for the first time and they're meeting with you and they're like, my advisor never talked to me about inflation. You're passionate about talking about inflation.
I am passionate about it. Inflation has been really annoying the last few years. All those crazy chicken ladies, they were so popular because eggs were outrageous in cost. And that's the number one source of protein for a lot of people because it's the most affordable source of protein. And knowing that something so simple as, your milk, your eggs, your bread became so expensive, that harms people.
Absolutely.
Because Social Security cost of living adjustment does not keep pace with inflation. The average inflation rate over the last 100 years has been 3%. We've been calculating it at 5% for the last 4 years. I would rather overcalculate and have too much money than not enough.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, when they're talking about inflation, they're not talking about food and fuel. They're not talking about utilities. They're not talking about taxes or insurance. All of those things have gone up. Kentucky has suffered miserably with all of these storms, the tornadoes and the floods and the terrible windstorms. It has just been devastating.
Yes.
Everyone's home and auto insurance has gone through the roof.
Yes. It's awful when you think about it because people weren't planning to have all of these additional expenses like you just mentioned. These storms can be catastrophic. Right. Talk a little bit as well about the different types of accounts, if you will. I know we're going to take a commercial break really quickly, but obviously it's so important to talk about taxation overall. And I know it's a big topic, so we should probably go to the commercial break, but I do want to ask you, how important is it to factor in the different taxes for these accounts before we open the phones?
Well, I think the number one thing that we're looking for in the answer of what type of an account is and what are the different types of accounts in general is, what is the taxation of the account? Is it pre-tax, post-tax? What's going to happen? Because you can only spend after-tax money.
Okay.
That's the number one thing that we're looking for. What can we get to get to the goal to have after-tax money?
Okay. Kristina, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, there is a number for you to call on your screen. 877-893-5099. Again, 877-893-5099. We know that you're in the viewing audience today, and maybe you're tuning into our show for the very first time and you're hearing about financial wellness. Well, financial wellness gives you peace of mind. It allows you to sleep well at night, knowing that no matter what happens in the market, that you are going to be okay. And how? Because you have a plan, a written retirement plan, one that Kristina and her team will draw up for you when they meet with you one-on-one. It's a completely complimentary consultation that you will receive just by calling in 877-893-5099. Or if you're rushing out the door, we invite you to grab your smartphone. Click on the QR code, please, at the bottom corner of your screen. That'll take you right to the landing page of Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services, and you can schedule your time with Kristina accordingly. Remember, these are your retirement years, and you deserve more than ever to have financial wellness. We'll be right back momentarily.
I have yet to see someone come into my firm that actually has a financial plan. So it is my great pleasure to be able to provide that for them. At Powerful Legacy, a financial plan is inclusive of everything retirement. So Social Security timing, tax planning, obviously legacy planning, Medicare. We want to talk about all of your wills, estates, I mean, all these items, I have found that most people will say, oh, I'm gonna spend less in retirement, then they spend more. So putting that entire plan together, what's the best way to decumulate those funds where you don't run out? It's a puzzle. It's my favorite thing. I mean, I love doing this all day, every day.
Welcome back to Your Powerful Legacy TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Kristina Ping. She is CEO of Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services, and we are talking all about financial wellness in your retirement years. Today, specifically, how to make sure that your portfolio is healthy. Just like you go into the doctor, you want to have both checked up regularly. So, Kristina, I should ask you, how do you measure the volatility in the portfolio, if you will?
We have a score, we call it the Riskalyze or nitrogen score, and it's a 1 to a 99. And inside of the score, if you were to think about it, a 1 is going to be like cash in your hand, no risk at all, it's just sitting there. The only risk is inflationary risk because it won't keep pace with inflation, it's not earning anything.
Okay.
And then a 99 is like a hedge fund, you could lose it all and then some.
Okay.
So it's like a speedometer. How fast would you want to lose as you're going along? So we would want to get the risk score in check. It's a little bit more in depth. We've got a risk quiz that we go through that says, you know, if you were to lose this much for this long, it would take this long to get back, and just get you to that comfort zone, because we can say the words all we want to of how a portfolio is declared. Is it conservative, moderate, growth, or aggressive? But the percentage or the actual number never lies. And so I can have someone tell me, oh, I'm in growth mode, but they lose 10% and they have a fit.
Yeah, right. It's like, wait a minute.
Whoa, no, you are conservative all day long. We're not in the right risk category. So it helps eliminate that question of what is the word. It brings us to an actual number. That's one thing, you know, again, numbers don't lie. That's one thing I just absolutely love about my career, because it's very factual. What can we do to make sure that we're hitting the mark?
Yeah.
That's how you know you're on track for your plan, is because you are hitting these milestones, you're hitting those marks.
I love that. And also, let's talk a little bit about the different types of accounts and how they will be taxed. Obviously, your IRAs, your 401ks, your Roth, your individual accounts. Talk to the audience, if you will, about how those accounts are taxed differently.
The first thing that I do want to say is, again, when we're talking about taxes, if you do not know what type of taxation is in the account, you are in a danger zone. The worst example I think that I've ever seen from one of my clients is that she inherited an inherited IRA. So it was her father-in-law's IRA, inherited by her husband. She inherited it from her husband who had passed away. The taxation on that is very complicated, because not only does she have to disperse and pay the taxes on those funds within the first 10 years after the father-in-law's date of death, but then the RMDs were based on the husband's age. I mean, it was
Wow.
really insane.
That's confusing.
It is kind of confusing, yes. Tax puzzles are my favorite. So I researched this one, I got it all right, verified it with our tax attorney and our CPA, and I'm like, yes, winning. We're gonna make sure that she's not going to have any penalties, no problems. And being it was actually her father-in-law's account that her husband had inherited, she didn't want to spend the money.
Okay.
She wanted to give it to her kids because it's technically their grandfather's money. So the tax consequence of that and giving to the children certain number, I mean, there is so much that was coming along with this. It was one of my favorite tax puzzles. It was very complicated. We got it all completely streamlined, and she's an incredible lady. I bet she's probably watching us right now.
Aww.
She watches this show every week, yes, and it has been one of the greatest pleasures to serve her and her family and her employees. It's great because she has a business. And when I think about what were the tax consequences of withdrawing the money versus saving the money versus giving the money, the consequences were different for all of the above because we had to do it.
Yeah.
That's the part that is so difficult. So what about when it comes time for RMDs, required minimum distributions? When you have to take it, that tax consequence becomes reality very quickly.
Oh, absolutely.
And it can create a major tax problem, especially because there's still taxation on Social Security beginning 2025. So what are those adjustments going to be? I don't want to date wherever we're at, because I know some of the folks are going to watch us a little bit of time from now, maybe on our YouTube channel. So I don't want to date that, but the tax laws change on a regular basis. So keeping up to date with that, making sure that we've got it in order, that's just a tiny little piece of the tax planning.
I love that. And talking about planning, obviously, I want to hear more about the risk tolerance quiz that you give people, and you get the number between 1 and 99. What are some of those questions like, just for fun? I'm just curious.
So as we're having the conversation and it's between a husband and a wife, the funniest thing is how far apart they are.
I'm sure.
Because the quiz is done individually. It has to be done by client, not by household. This is so much fun to see because, I'll see them 20, 30 points differential.
Wow.
And as we're asking those questions, if this scenario was to happen, what if we put the portfolio under stress with a major event like 2008 or, market crash 2020? What is it that could cause the portfolio to have a problem? And then how would you react to that? Well, the emotional reaction that comes from one spouse may be, I don't really care as long as I'm going to gain even more money. It's so fun to see exactly how that runs. And these little in-detailed questions, it's actually a sliding bar on the numbers. And as you progress on the question and you slide the bar, it gives that risk score at the bottom.
Okay.
So as we're going through all these numbers, it's less than 5 minutes. It's pretty quick, but it's one of the most tailing things inside of the entire portfolio.
And so do you reveal the results to the couple at the same time? I'm just curious.
Reveal. This sounds like a game show.
I know.
So fun.
I can't help it.
Well, they do see it at the same time. Yes, it's up on the screen and they see it at the same time. And a lot of times I get this, they're like, okay, that's not where I thought I was going to be. I thought I was going to be a 50 or 60. And then what's more is we take a look into what is the current portfolio. This is one of the most important steps in making sure that you're on track for retirement. So let's say that we take everything that you currently have and we just do a portfolio observation, a Morningstar, a Quanti. What do we need to do to make sure that you're on track? Well, if you don't know what you have, how do you know what adjustments need to be made to get where you're going, right?
That's true.
And so as we take a look at where people are, some folks are very surprised. They're like, oh, I didn't realize I was taking that much risk. Or maybe I thought I had a little bit more risk so I could have more growth. My portfolio hasn't grown at all. This is terrible. We'll see so many different things. The latest thing that I've seen most often is that people will come in with maybe a traditional IRA, a Roth IRA, maybe just a non-qualified individual or a joint account. They're all 3 different taxations, but all 3 accounts are in the same stinking investments.
Wow.
That is called a heavy correlation. That means you're overpaying for the portfolio for nothing.
Wow.
That is something that I've seen so much lately. It's lazy is what it is. It's a lazy advisor. And it actually just pays more to the advisor. And a lot of times that's because the advisor, the custodian, and the actual manager is all within the same realm. We are completely separate. Our custodians, the advisor, and the managers are separate, so there's no conflict of interest on there. We only make more if the portfolio is making more. That's how it should be.
That's exactly how it should be. Well, Kristina, you have a very special message to our viewers at home. Please talk about what that is before we take our next commercial break.
I want to challenge you folks for just a moment. Do you know what kind of taxation is inside of your portfolio? Do you really, truly know? What are the consequences of the taxes inside of the portfolio? I know we talk about taxes a lot, and I know you're worried about this. I would love to see what I can do to give you a little bit of peace of mind. We have a couple of resources here. The first one is powerfultaxbill.com. Jump in, take a look, go to the website or hit that QR code. And folks, as you jump in there and you see exactly what the report is going to give you, that is just an insight to what the taxes could be. What are the adjustments that need to be made to make it tax favorable? It's going to tell you that too. You're going to love it. I know you will. If you would like to come in and see us, we would love to see you. How can we serve you? How can we bless you with information? This is what you do. Call the number on the screen, 877-893-5099. You just want to tell them, I would like to set up a consultation. I would like to have a complimentary written retirement plan. That will include the taxes.
Kristina, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, the number to call is 877-893-5099. 877-893-5099. Call in today, book that complimentary consultation. Let Kristina and the team get to know you, your goals, your dreams, and your hopes for retirement. You deserve to have a plan that's going to weather any storm. You don't want to be left out in the rain during the retirement years. We're going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. I have so much more with Kristina when we return about financial wellness and how it applies to your peaceful retirement. Stay tuned.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
Welcome back to Your Powerful Legacy TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Kristina Ping. She is CEO of Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services, and you are actually joining us on the Financial Wellness Series. Kristina believes that your financial wellness is a huge part of your retirement wellness as well. I love the series. Again, as you know, I always talk about it because it just makes perfect sense to me. And talking about wellness overall, one thing that we should talk about in our final segment is the importance of factoring in healthcare. And I know you and I have talked, even when we're not obviously in the studio together, we talk quite regularly. A lot of people that are coming into the office for the very first time haven't really thought about healthcare or long-term care and how important it is to plan for those going forward.
I have a little bit of a silly, I guess you could say that it's just a comparison. Have any of you out there seen a drug commercial? So it's for a specific prescription drug, and it sits there and carries on this very beautiful, pleasant-looking commercial
Yes.
with all these terrible consequences or side effects that you could have with this drug. That's what it reminds me of when I think about retirement and healthcare. You think that it's going to be so simple. Oh, I've got my Medicare, I've got my supplement, everything's good. Or some people are fooled even more so. I bought a long-term care policy, I'm taken care of. Nope. The average couple in retirement will pay over $350,000 in healthcare costs, not including long-term care.
That is insane.
That is staggering.
Wow.
So you think about that. If I was to have a commercial of a retired couple walking along the beach, it's a great looking commercial, and all the warnings were coming behind it.
Yeah.
Oh my gracious. It is the number one thing that I see completely derails retirement plans. And a lot of times these things are unexpected. And as we're having the conversation about what could it be that is unexpected, I had a situation with my health that was so horrific. And I want to make sure and settle this score, gentlemen. I had a kidney stone one time. Yes, it is more painful than childbirth. And it was an emergency. I mean, it happened very quickly. I became very ill very quickly. The pain was so severe, I couldn't breathe. I mean, it was so painful. And I had to have an emergency surgery because it was huge. It was 11 millimeters.
Oh my gosh.
And then once they had a stent in the ureter and they went to pull that, it tore the ureter and I had to have an emergency surgery on that.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm totally fine. Everything's great. But nothing was planned. It ended up being 2 surgeries. Well, the older that you get, the more these things happen.
Absolutely they do.
I'm not necessarily saying kidney stones, we just have to make sure and take good care of ourselves.
Right.
But my goodness gracious, I've never seen a health situation that was, oh, well, I think I'm just gonna have a stroke today. No, it comes at a most terrible time.
Yes.
And what can we do to hedge against that? And when I think about, okay, healthcare could completely derail my retirement plan, why? Is because the timing, the expense, and then what it does for the future spending, not necessarily just what the spending is immediately, but for the future spending for your continued care.
So what is the ideal age to start planning for long-term care, Kristina? I have to ask that question because people are probably wondering in the viewing audience, like, when do you really start thinking about it? Would you say 50s, 60s, earlier, 40s?
I think some people don't think about it until they get really sick because nobody wants to think about it. I've yet to have anyone come into my firm and say, oh, I would like to go to long-term care. Let's talk about it. No way.
Right.
Everybody wants to stay home. You want to be comfortable.
Everyone wants to be home.
That's how that is. My kids remind me that they will pick my nursing home someday, so let's just leave that one there. But the number one thing that I see that is a true financial illness, this includes health care, taxes, all of these things, Cynthia, it's paralyzation. People that just do nothing. You don't talk about long-term care in the future. What if you do have health conditions, or what if you've had a situation with your parents? The long-term care policies of today are nothing like they were even a decade ago. They used to have unlimited policies. Those don't even exist. Now the aggregate limits are somewhere around $100,000 to $250,000. Well, if you have a nursing home that costs $10,000 a month, that's going to drain the aggregate limit very quickly.
Absolutely.
And the average nursing home stay is 835 days.
Wow.
It's really tough to cover that by benefits, so then guess what they come after? Your estate, your assets.
Yes.
And just because they may not take your home while you're still living, they will come after it when you're gone.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't talk about that. So what can we do to hedge against it? Have it part of the plan. That's
Most
simple.
definitely.
Yes.
So a lot of people are under the understanding that Medicare takes care of all of this. So please
my
talk
heart.
about that, because I've heard that before from people. Well, I don't need to think about that because Medicare, I'll be covered by Medicare.
One of
not
my
true.
dear friends, Jessica, she's a Medicare specialist, and she said something to me that made the most sense. Medicare is basic. It's for basic care. That's it. They shouldn't call it Medicare. They should call it basic care, because that's all it's for. It is not for anything else major. It's not meant to cover major surgeries, all those things. It's not meant to cover extended physical therapy, hospital stays, long-term care, any of those items. Your regulatory healthcare plan is not long-term care. Just like on your home insurance, flood insurance or earthquake insurance are not included on that. They're separate. That's the same way that you can relate that between something that's tangible and then your health. Folks, if you do not get this in order, it could completely destroy your estate.
Well, Kristina, with only a minute left of the show this week, your final message, please, to our viewers at home.
What is it that you need to talk about? What are you most concerned about? Are you concerned about healthcare in retirement? Are you concerned about the volatility of the market, taxes, fees in the portfolio? How does this all come together? I would love to help you. Please give us a call. That number on the screen, 877-893-5099. You are calling in to get a complimentary written retirement plan.
Kristina, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, the number to call, 877-893-5099, 877-893-5099, or you can grab your smartphone, click on that QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That'll take you right to the landing page of Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services, and you can claim your time accordingly with Kristina. You deserve to have financial wellness, especially in the retirement years. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. We'll see you back 1 week from today. Take care now.